thank you for watching my channel today. My name is Sarah and my channel is called Your True Shelf, and today I'm coming with my first haul of the year. So as you can tell, I still haven't got over my cold. Lots of people said get well soon, so thank you very much for that. But I still don't sound like my normal self, and I'm still just, full of, well, not full of cold, that's an exaggeration. I've still got a cold, which has just lingered on for over 2 weeks now, so hopefully it will go away soon. But I'm here to talk about the books that I got to start with for Christmas, and then I bought some with Christmas money, and then I've just done a couple of like 99p deals and different stuff like that. So I just thought I would tell you about what I've hauled. I have been loving watching people's best books of the year videos. They have been a real joy to watch, as always. I've been writing down, as I said in my last video, all the booktubers books on their favourite list that I already own, so that I can make a little spread of those in my bullet journal. And also I have been adding books to my wish list like mad for lots of books, that especially ones that I keep seeing. But one of the ones that I bought was one that I saw Lauren from Lauren and the Books recommend, and this was The House in the Strand by Daphne du Maurier. So I've read Rebecca, which I absolutely adored. I've read My Cousin Rachel, which I wasn't as fond of, but I read it a long time ago. And so I wonder whether I just maybe wasn't at the right stage to read it, possibly. And I think that's the only ones I've read of hers, off the top of my head. But this one features time travel, and I love time travel. Like, I really, really love it in books. And so that's why I wanted to read this book when I heard Lauren talk about it. So in this book, our protagonist is called Dick Young, and he has a professor friend called Magnus Lane. And Magnus has invented this new drug which she offers to Dick Young to try out. And when he tries it out, it transports him back in time to the 14th century in Cornwall, to a manor house, and it says he witnesses intrigue, adultery and murder. And when he time travels, he becomes more addicted to being in the past, so he's taking more and more of this drug, and he becomes addicted to the past and living in that world and finding out sort of about what's happened. And I just thought, like, first of all, it sounds like Daphne has a very diverse selection of books that she's written, because this sounds nothing like the ones that I've read by her before. But I am very intrigued to read it because, like I said, the time travel, and it's Daphne du Maurier. So that's the first one that I bought with my Christmas money. One that I got for Christmas from my parents, which is one that I asked for, is the third book in the Boudica series. So as you know, if you've watched my channel for any length of time, I rave on and on about how much I love and adore the Boudica series, historical fiction. And this is book 3 of 4, and this one's called Dreaming the Hound, and I am going to start this, I think actually this weekend. Myself and Aaron have buddy read the whole series, and we're going to continue to do so. And so we're about to start this book. They are all quite chunky books. This one is about 700 pages. I'm not even going to read the back because I don't want any spoilers, but just know that if you want to hear me talk about this series, go and watch my best books of the year video, and then you will see how much I love this series. So that is book 3 that I've just got for Christmas. At work, for my work book club, we do a Secret Santa every year. So we'll use a website which gives us another person to buy for. We have a budget of about £10, and we all make a wish list, and then we get a book from our wish list from an unknown member of book club, which is really good fun, and we all really enjoy taking part. And the one that I got from my unknown Secret Santa is The Children of Gods and Fighting Men by Shauna Lawless. So this is the first in a series. Are we surprised that I'm starting another series? This one is set in Ireland, and I've heard lots of things about this on the fantasy channels that I watch, and it sounds amazing. This is set in the 1st century AD, and we're following 2 female protagonists in Ireland, and they are both have types of abilities and magic which are forbidden, and the Viking king has died, and so I think the country is in a little bit of uproar because of that, or unrest, and we're following these two women, but I also understand there's a lot of Irish folklore in this book, and I don't really know any Irish folklore, so I think that will be interesting. And I've heard just lots of good things about this series and about Shauna Lawless's writing, and so I'm looking forward to getting started on this series once, as I've said before, once I have completed some of the series that I am already in the middle of, which I am still doing successfully, which is good. The next three are all books that I bought in Waterstones with my Christmas money again. And the first one is one I've wanted for ages because it's the first in a series by a middle grade author this time. And this is The Chronicles of Whetherwhy by Anna James. And the first book is called The Age of Enchantment. And it's got a really lovely cover. Actually, I haven't looked underneath the cover. Have we got a nice cover underneath? Oh, we've just got a plain cover underneath. But the reason I wanted to read this is Anna James is somebody people might be familiar with because she does do some booktube content, normally with Eric from Eric Conn Anderson, they do a video together normally about the Women's Prize every year. And I have very much enjoyed her series Tilly and the Book Wanderers, which I'm on book 5 of 6 at the moment. And when I saw that she had a new middle grade series coming out, I wanted to buy it, and I want to read this with my children because normally when we read books together, that we're currently reading the Nevermore books, I have normally read the book first and I'm reading it again for the second time with them. So this book will be the first book that I'm reading for the first time with them, and I think that will be really nice. And I think it will also mean that we're more propulsive because sometimes when bedtimes get a bit late, we don't have time to read together because my youngest needs to go to sleep. And so it's taken us quite a long time to read the current Nevermore book, which is a shame. And so, yeah, I am really looking forward to getting started on this. So this one is about the place called Whetherwhy, where everybody has magic inside them based on one of the seasons. And there are some people who are called, I think it's enchanters. Yeah, enchanters, who can wield magic from all 4 seasons. And our main character, Juniper, finds out that she's an enchanter. So she gets to go to a special training school for enchanters. But her twin brother, Rafferty, is not an enchanter, so he has to be left behind, and he takes on a bookbinding apprenticeship, but he starts getting involved in some sort of dark and mysterious secrets and things. So I wonder if their paths are going to be sort of like the good and evil paths maybe, and they're twins, so, but they're with separate paths. I don't know, I'm just guessing that part, but it may be less dark than I'm imagining. There's a dragon on the front, which is a good sign, and really beautiful cover. So yeah, I'm excited to start this. Once we've finished Nevermore, then we can start on this series together. The next book that I bought is again part of a series. Don't judge me. I saw this on the Brothers Gwyn channel. They both really loved this book, I think especially Ed, and so when I saw it in Waterstones I wanted to buy it, and it is Emperor, the Gates of Rome by Conn Iggulden. So this is a historical fiction again, and it says on the back, from the spectacle of gladiatorial combat to the intrigue of the Senate, from the foreign wars that secure the power of the empire to the betrayals that threaten to tear it apart, this is the remarkable story of a man who would become the greatest Roman of them all, Julius Caesar. In the city of Rome, a titanic power struggle is about to shake the Republic to its core. Citizen will fight citizen in a bloody conflict, and Julius Caesar, cutting his teeth in battle, will be in the thick of the action. So I am very intrigued about Rome at the moment because, firstly, the Boudica books is the Roman invasion of Britain. Secondly, I am on the last book of the Wolfden trilogy, which is set in 1st century Rome for quite a lot of the book, and obviously I just absolutely loved watching the Gladiator 2 that came out recently. I just feel like Rome's like a thing that I'm just really interested in at the moment. I've been watching the programme on BBC, no not BBC, is it Channel 5 maybe, Colosseum, I think it's with Dan Snow is the presenter. So there's lots of stuff going on at the moment, and my knowledge of Rome is fairly limited, and I know there's lots of interesting non-fiction books about as well, and there's like books that people like Mary Beard have written, and so I think it's an area of knowledge that I'd like to develop more, and this book just sounds like really up my street at the moment. in terms of the subject matter and the fact that I'm enjoying the books that I've just mentioned so much. So that one I'm really looking forward to. Then I have got a really massive book here, which is nearly 900 pages, and I've had both Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book and the Brothers Gwyn talk about how much they love this book, and I just saw it on the shelf and I just thought I'd take a chance on it because it's not one that I don't think I've read anything like it before. This is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. It's huge, but I do love a big book, and this is a western set in the 1880s. It says a portrayal of the American West as it really was. And I haven't really read westerns before. I guess my fear about westerns always is because obviously the indigenous people of America were all sort of driven west and lost their homeland and lost their country. And, you know, obviously I'm very much against that. And I always worry if I read westerns that it will be celebrating victory almost of like the new settlers over the indigenous people. And I'm always really scared of that being a theme of a book, because obviously that's in complete opposition to my beliefs about what's right. And so I've been reassured that that's not the case for this book. And it might be that I'm just ignorant of the genre and that's why I'm making those assumptions. But I just don't want it to be like a celebration of loss of indigenous land and all the horrible things that happened to the native people of America. So that's why I've kind of always avoided westerns. This one won the Pulitzer Prize, and I am reassured that we're in safe territory with this book. And it's about two former Texas Rangers who are on a cattle drive from the Rio Grande to the highlands of Montana whilst they're carving out a new life through the wilderness. And I think one of them's like a bit of a drinker, one of them's really hardworking, and they're sort of talking about like the past and making this journey and stuff. So it does sound really good. I love an epic book. I do like a journey, and I do like historical fiction a lot. And so I am looking forward to giving this one a go. If you have any thoughts on what I just said about westerns, if I'm like making incorrect assumptions, then please let me know, because it's not something that I feel like I know a lot about. But yes, so that is Lonesome Dove. I have a whole box set which I got for Christmas, and it's a bit of a risk to buy a whole series in one go when you haven't read the first one. But there's a website, not sponsored or anything, there's a website called Books to Door in the UK which does box sets, and it does them at like amazing prices. So you'd be kind of silly to buy them individually when you could get them for a group for hardly much more money. This series I got because Smitty, whose channel I'll link below, raves about this series, and that's why I wanted to try it. And this is the Scythe series. So this is a YA series, but I understand that it's a fantastic series. So I'm going to put it down and just hold up one book, because otherwise it's a bit heavy. So this is the first book. This is by Neil Shusterman. I don't think I said that. So the concept of this book is that illnesses have been cured. There's peace. The world is a safe place. And yet nobody's going to die of natural causes because of this reason. And so the only way that you can be killed, which is necessary for population control, is to be killed by a professional scythe. So scythes are the people who go around and take people's lives, because that's the only way that you can die. And there are two characters called Citra and Rowan, and they are chosen to be apprentice scythes. So they have no choice in this matter, and they have to have this massive responsibility of choosing who they should kill and who their victims are going to be. And it says corruption is the order of the day, and Citra and Rowan need to stick together to fight the corruption. So, yeah, it sounds like a fascinating concept, and like I say, I've got the whole series to read now, thanks to the amazing price that I got them for. I have two more books which were spontaneous library hauls, so not ones that I purchased. The first one, again, is going for a similar theme, is Women of Troy by Pat Barker. So this is the sequel to The Silence of the Girls. I read The Silence of the Girls in probably like 2021 maybe, and it made my best books of the year list. I loved it, and I can't really remember anything about it. So if you've read this, please can you tell me whether I need to go back and reread Silence of the Girls first, or whether you think it would be fine just to do a summary, because a lot of the time they sort of give you aid memoirs about what's happened in the previous book, but I don't want to equally be thinking who was that again for the whole thing. So let me know what you think, if I should just try and find a summary online or whether I should go back and reread Silence of the Girls again. This focuses on the women of Troy, so Helen, Cassandra, Amina, Hecuba and Briseis, and this is after Troy has fallen and the aftermath of that war. And so yeah, follows on from the Silence of the Girls, and I am really excited to read that because I loved Silence of the Girls so much. And then the second one is an author who I've wanted to try for quite a long time because they seem to be really good romance books, and this is Ali Hazelwood. This is one of her standalones called Not in Love. I haven't really heard anything about this book. I know that Ali Hazelwood writes about women in STEM careers, which is always good as a woman in a STEM career myself. And I know this is a romance. I know nothing more about it, so I'm just going to have a quick read of the blurb and then summarise for you. Okay, so this is about a woman called Rue who's working at a startup in the food science industry, and she is a biotech engineer. She has a stable and happy life, and then the company she works for, is due to be taken over by another business, and the man who is brokering this deal, who is at the front of this, is a guy called Eli, and he really wants to take over the company that Rue works for, so she should really hate him because she doesn't want this company to take over her company, but they're really attracted to each other, and so they decide they're going to have an affair which has to end on the day that the businesses merge, which sounds unlikely, doesn't it? So yeah, that is the premise of this one. So I thought it might be nice just to have a standalone romance to read when I'm in the mood for it, and I really wanted to try Ali Hazelwood's books for quite a long time, so that's that one. That's all the physical books that I have here. And then I have two books which I bought on my Kindle for 99p. So one of them is one I've heard about for quite a while, doing the rounds on booktube, and that is My Friends by Hisham Matar. This book follows three men, two of whom I believe are friends from university, who met at university, and they're Libyan, and they're living in Scotland at the time when they're at university. And I think the third guy is a writer. I'm not sure at what point they meet him. And they decide on a whim one day that they're going to go to London to join a demonstration outside the Libyan embassy. And this basically changes their lives forever because the government open fire on the protesters and changes everything. And then as the years go by, they have to decide whether they're going to go back home to Libya to their old lives, or whether they're going to stay in London and continue with the lives that they've built over the last few years. And I really don't know much about Libya, so I thought one of the things that attracted me to it was to learn a bit more about the country. And also I just like books that follow a small group of people or a couple of characters over years and find out what happens. I feel like we're going to get quite involved in these guys' lives and thoughts and feelings, and I think that that's a really interesting thing to do, and I really like that kind of book, so I bought that one. The last book is one I hadn't heard about, and I probably wouldn't have clicked on it based on the cover, to be honest, but my best friend messaged me and said she just finished it and she loved it so much that she said you absolutely have to read it, and you have to read it soon because I want to talk to you about it, which was a recommendation I couldn't ignore. And this is called The Echo of Old Books by Barbara Davis. This is following a woman called Ashlyn, and she is a rare book dealer, and she has an unusual gift in that when she holds a book, she can sense its emotional fingerprint, and she can sense stuff about the person who owned the book or read the book before. And she finds these two really old, mysterious books that have never been published, and she can sense that the authors of the two books have a story and they're linked, and she wants to investigate their story to try and find out this like decades old mystery that's gone on and to bring closure to the authors. But I think she also has things that she then manages to, sort of, that are relevant to her life, I think, and her story. So I'm just, like I said, I bought that just purely based on my best mate's recommendation. And yes, I've promised her that I will read it soon so that we can discuss it. So that's the last one. So that is everything that I've hauled recently. And if you've read any of them, I'd really love to hear what your thoughts are. Or if you want to tell me some books that you've got given for Christmas or that you've bought with Christmas money, that would be lovely. And any bookish news, comments, thoughts, anything would always be welcome as usual. I hope that your new year is off to a good start. I hope that you have a lovely week, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.